The night that shattered everything. How I lost it all. My name is Marissa. I'm 32 years old. And I ruined my own life with a single choice. One that I convinced myself didn't matter at the time. Started with something so small. Harmless, even. Or so I thought. Just a dinner. One evening after work, celebrating a big win with my boss. That's all it was supposed to be. A few drinks, some laughs, and a shared sense of accomplishment. At least, that's the story I told myself. But the truth is, that one night set off a chain of events that tore through everything I loved. It was like lighting a match in a dry forest. Quiet at first, until the flames swallowed everything. Now, I sit alone in a quiet apartment, surrounded by reminders of the life I used to have. I keep replaying it in my head, wondering how I let it all slip through my fingers so easily. My husband, Daniel, was everything I thought I wanted. He wasn't flashy or dramatic. He was steady. A man with deep roots and strong values. When we met, it was his quiet confidence that drew me in. I was impulsive, full of energy and quick decisions. He was deliberate, thoughtful. When I panicked or second-guessed myself, he stayed grounded, unshakable. He didn't try to control me. He wasn't possessive or jealous. He trusted me completely, where I went, who I spent time with. He never questioned me. First, I adored that about him. I thought I'd won the relationship lottery. Freedom, trust, stability, everything I believed I needed. But somewhere along the way, that calm started to feel like distance. No matter what I did, Daniel remained the same. If I stayed out late, he'd greet me with a kiss and a warm smile. If someone flirted with me in front of him, he'd laugh it off, maybe make a playful joke, then move on. It began to gnaw at me. Not because I wanted him to be controlling, but because I started to wonder if I even mattered enough to stir something in him. I wasn't looking for chaos, but I did want to feel wanted. Needed star. To feel that I wasn't just a steady fixture in his life, but someone irreplaceable. That's when the thought crept in. What if I shook things up a little? Not to hurt him. At least that's what I told myself. But maybe to snap him out of that unshakable calm. To prove that I could still affect him. Then came Ethan, my boss. Charismatic. Charming. The kind of man who always seemed to know exactly what to say. He had this magnetic energy. And though he'd flirted in the past, I'd always kept it professional. Until that night. We'd worked together on a massive project for weeks, pouring everything we had into it. And after we landed the deal, he invited me to celebrate. Just the two of us. No pretense. I knew exactly what it looked like. I knew exactly where it could lead. But I lied to myself. I told myself it was innocent. I'd earned a night out after all that hard work. Besides, Daniel wouldn't care. He never did. That same evening, Daniel casually suggested we go out for dinner too. Just the two of us. But I lied. I told him it was a mandatory team dinner. I wanted to see if he'd push back. If he'd ask questions. Maybe, just maybe, show a little jealousy. But instead, he kissed my cheek, smiled softly and said, "Enjoy yourself, March." It stung more than I expected, like shouting into the void and hearing nothing in return. So I went. I told myself I was proving a point. But deep down, I knew exactly what I was doing. That night with Ethan. It didn't stay innocent. I thought it would be just one mistake, buried and forgotten. But the moment I walked back into our home, everything felt different. Daniel was sitting on the couch, reading. He looked up, smiled, and asked how dinner went. Calm as ever. But something in the air had shifted. I gave a vague answer, avoided his gaze, and pretended nothing had changed. But Daniel changed. He didn't fight. He didn't accuse me. He simply withdrew. Quietly. He stopped reaching for my hand at night. Stopped lingering at the breakfast table. He became distant. Then one night, weeks later, he broke the silence. "Did you have dinner with Ethan alone?" No anger. No raised voice. Just quiet resignation. Froze. Part of me wanted to lie. But something in his eyes stopped me. There was no fire there anymore. Just tiredness. "Yes," I whispered. "But it wasn't what you think." He nodded once. I see. Then he stood up and left the room. That was it. Days turned into weeks. I tried everything to pull him back. Cooked his favorite meals. I tried to start conversations. I touched him the way I used to. But it was like holding on to smoke. Finally I broke down. Daniel, please. Can we talk? I want to fix this. He looked at me, his expression unreadable. I think we're done. His words hit me like a punch to the chest. What? Just like that? You're giving up? He shook his head slowly. This wasn't sudden, Marissa. I've been loving you in every way I know how. But it always felt like you were waiting for someone else. I begged him. Promised I'd never cross that line again. That I'd stop testing him. That we could rebuild. But he was already gone inside. The next day he moved out. And then came the rest of the fallout. Ethan, the man I thought gave me what Daniel couldn't, changed too. His charm faded fast. The flirtation turned to entitlement. He made comments, crossed lines at work. When I finally reported him, the damage was done. People whispered. The office turned cold. Friends distanced themselves. My family wasn't any better. My sister said it bluntly. You always wanted more. Now you've got it. Daniel's parents, who once called me their daughter, cut me off completely. I was left utterly alone. I spent so long trying to provoke Daniel, trying to pull a reaction out of him, that I never realized how deeply he already loved me. His love wasn't loud. It wasn't fiery or jealous. It was steady, quiet. But I wanted sparks, and I mistook peace for indifference. I didn't see that his calm wasn't coldness. It was strength. The kind of love that holds you through storms without asking for anything in return. And I pushed him too far. I tested his love, but what I really did was test his limits. He reached the edge, and he chose himself. It's been several months now. The divorce is finalized. Quit that job. Moved to a new city. Started fresh, where no one knows my name or my mistakes. I'm in therapy, finally facing the truth. Why I chased chaos. Why I mistook stability for boredom. Why I destroyed something beautiful, looking for drama that was never going to satisfy me. The regret is a constant companion. Some days it crushes me. Familiar song. Scent on the street. Couple laughing at a cafe. But I'm learning. Love doesn't have to roar to be real. Sometimes it's in the quiet presence of someone who holds space for you, who stays steady when the world gets too loud. Daniel did that for me every single day. And I threw it away for something I imagined I needed. If love ever finds me again, if I'm ever that lucky, I'll know better. To anyone listening to this, please hear me. Don't wait for jealousy to prove your worth. Don't confuse peace with apathy. And don't burn something beautiful because it doesn't explode with fireworks. Because sometimes, all it takes is one night. And not everyone gets a second chance.